Okay, so we're going to go over to India, to Vrindavan, where there is a very, very dear Didi, who I had the good fortune. She stayed in my house for quite a long time. I think at least 5 weeks. She's the niece of Sudevi, as in Sudevi and Kishori, and I have seen her beautifully develop in her bhakti and her commitment to bhakti yoga, to Vaishnavism, to Gurudev. She's born a devotee. And she actually took Harinam at the age of 5. I didn't even think you get Harinam at the age of 5, and Diksha at the age of 12. So we're going over to Vrindavan. She's just come back from work, ready to now share her Pushpanjali. And over to Subi in Vrindavan. My dear, very warm welcome. Lovely to see you. Haribol. Oh, look at you. You look as happy as I remember you. And that's, you want to introduce your, you introduce.
Okay, this is Manas Gosvami, and he's my fiance.
Beautiful.
And he's from Radharaman Mandir in Vrindavan.
Well, I've already congratulated you, but I'll congratulate you as well, Prabhu. She's wonderful, beautiful devotee. So well done.
Can you hear us properly?
Yeah, a little louder would be good, but it's not bad.
Okay, how about now?
Good, very good.
Okay, that was an intro to live up to. I hope I can. Dandavat pranams all Vaishnavas, and I think we were going to start with Manas singing one bhajan. Is that okay? Okay, and then I'll speak after. Okay. So let me scoot over.
Vanchakalpatarobhischa kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So I'm gonna sing just this bhajan called Guru Charan Kamal Bhajman. Guru Charan Kamal Bhajman, Guru Charan Kamal Bhajman, Guru Charan Kamal Bhajman, Guru Charan Kamal Bhajman. Guru Kripa Bina nahi koi sadhana bal, Guru Kripa Bina nahi koi sadhana bal, Bhajman bhajan kshana, Guru Charan Kamal Bhajman, Guru Charan Kamal Bhajman. मिलता नहीं ऐसा दुर्लभ जन्म, मिलता नहीं ऐसा दुर्लभ जन्म, भजमन 14 भुवन, ब्रह्मतनु 14 भुवन, गुरु चरण कमल भजमन। किसी को मिलते हैं अहो भाग्य से हरि भक्तों के दर्शन गुरु चरण कमल भज मन। कृष्ण कृपा की आनंद मूर्ति, कृष्ण कृपा की आनंद मूर्ति, दीन जन करुणा निदान, दीन जन करुणा निदान, गुरु चरण कमल भज मन। भक्ति भाव प्रेम त्रिन प्रकाशित, भक्ति भाव प्रेम तीन प्रकाशित, श्री गुरु पतित पावन, गुरु चरण कमल भज मन। गुरु चरण कमल भज मन। आ श्रुति स्मृति इतिहास पुरानंद माही, किनो सप्त प्रमन, गुरु चरण कमल भज मन। तन मन जीवन गुरुपद अर्पण, तन मन जीवन गुरुपद अर्पण, सदा श्री हरि नाम रतन, गुरु चरण कमल भज मन। श्री गुरु चरण कमल भज मन। जय गुरुदेवा, गुरुदेवा, गुरुदेवा। Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. Can you come back? We want more. We want more like that. You've got yourself into trouble now. We're now spoiled. I'll contact Subi for your to beg you for some more of that. Stunning, beautiful.
Om Jnanatmirandasya Jnanam Janashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurudev Namah. Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Sri Srimati Bhaktivedanta Narayana Namine Vanchakalpatarabhasya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Parvanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Okay, Dandavat pranams all Vaishnavas, all Vaishnavis. And I must say, this is such an amazing thing you guys have put together. And it's just an amazing seva. And I know you guys probably keep hearing it every day, but it truly is unbelievable what you guys are doing. So I just want to start with that. And so I met Srila Gurudev when I was 4 years old. I don't remember where, it was somewhere in Los Angeles. And my mom took my mother took me and my brothers. And I remember the first time that I saw Srila Gurudev, instantly he became my best friend. And that's what Srila Gurudev was to me. He wasn't my teacher yet, my guru. He was my best friend. And I had decided that once I had seen him, once I met him. And my mother thought something was wrong with me going back home later that day. I was jumping on the bed, screaming that Gurudev's my best friend. And she was like, what is wrong with my child? But to me, when I was 4 years old, instead of having an imaginary friend, it was Gurudev. And in my house, I would always be talking to him, and we'd be having our little tea parties together, and I'd tell him about my life. And yeah, and then at 5 at the New Braj Harikatha festival, that is where I got Harinam from Srila Gurudev with my father. And then when I'll tell some stories of when I was little in New Braj, I remember my best friend Vishnu Priya and we'd always be in Harikatha with him. And we'd be in our coloring books, usually coloring Srimati Radhika. We had the Krishna coloring books. And we'd always also be fighting for like if Gurudev was gonna look at us during class and who could hold eye contact with him, because when he looked at you, we were like his piercing blue eyes, we were so scared as little kids. And we'd try to hold the glance of when he would look at us during Harikatha. And we'd always be running and trying to get pats on the head from Srila Gurudev after his Harikatha. And we'd run to his room before he would go for the night. And we'd count, once we got a pat on the head, we'd run down the path we knew he was walking and wait to get the next pat and see how many we could get until he went into his room. And after that, we'd start spinning drunk off mercy is what we would say when we were little. And one other story I remember was when I was 7 years old and we were in Hawaii for Srila Gurudev's appearance day. And at that time in Hawaii, everyone would bring him garlands for his birthday. And I remember growing up, because I grew up in Krishna consciousness, I remember always hearing, especially on Srimati Radhika's appearance day, that today is the day to ask for something, because in Vedic culture, when it's your birthday, you give gifts. You don't receive them like in American culture. So I remember being in line going to give Gurudev a garland, and I was wondering why he was receiving all these gifts. So when I got up there, I whispered by him and I said, Gurudev, I said, I want you to give me the garland because it's your birthday and you should be giving gifts. And now I'm mortified at the thought of that, but I was 7 and he gave me his garland. And I just think that relationship I had with him as a child was beautiful, and it was my friend and what I needed at the time. And so I wanted to, now reflecting as I'm older, I can understand the Harikatha more. And so reflecting, I was reflecting about the things that really struck me, that have stuck with me through my life, that I feel Srila Gurudev has given me. He's given me so much, but I wanted to go over some main points. Ever since I got Harinam, I knew that my goal in life was to be a Palyadasi of Srimati Radhika. I wanted to be her maidservant, and I was chanting that at the age of 5. We'd put tilak on, and we'd be chanting, I only want to be the maidservant of Srimati Radhika. Gurudev was so emphatic on this point that we should be one-pointed in our bhakti. And even at the age of 5, me and my friends knew what our goal was, our one-pointed goal. And I feel like that's really like a big blessing, because I meet so many people here in India and they're doing all these different worships for different demigods, and that's okay. But in our path of bhakti, that's not the main goal. Gurudev said in Going Beyond Vaikuntha, he was glorifying all of the different ways of serving. Sorry, actually, I was reading in the Harmonist, In San Francisco in 2003, he was talking about what kind of Krishna prem do we want. And he was saying, we don't want the kind of prem that the Pandavas had, or even Uddhava, his dearmost friend. We don't reject their prem, but we offer pranam to it. We don't want to see and serve the Krishna that Radhika is serving. We offer pranam to that also. We want to serve in the way Sri Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari is serving. And that is the object and aim in our life. He glorified everyone that day. He glorified the Pandavas, Uddhava. But he said, who is the most glorious of them all? It's Srimati Radhika. He falls at her feet. And what to say of even his maids, of her maidservants, he falls at Srimati Radhika's maidservants. And this is our path. This is what Gurudev has taught us. And he was even saying that Raghunath Das Goswami prays to take shelter of the Kinkaris who have Rupa Manjari as their leader. And how specific is this path that we're on? And Gurudev has given that to us. And, you know, there's never a moment in my life I knew that wasn't my goal. Like from Gurudev, he always was teaching that and how one-pointed it is. And in going by in Vaikuntha, what I was going to say is that Gurudev was also saying that in the realm of bhakti, neutrality is the most undesirable thing. Neutrality. Exclusive sentiment is the specific quality of bhakti. And in relation to Krishna, there will never be neutrality. So he was saying one may desire to perform bhajan for Ram, Sita, Chandravali, others, we can serve that but from the perspective of tattva, this is all right. And one may even achieve Vaikuntha. But if there is no nishta in one deity, if there's no one pointedness, then nothing is correct. We have to be exclusive. So Gurudev was so adamant on this. And another point I wanted to talk about was our Swarup. He was also, I remember growing up, he always talked about how a mango seed will only become a mango tree. It will never become an apple tree or anything like this. So this was always really important to me, especially hearing different things growing up when I'm understanding the Harikatha. But I had this rooted in me that, no, if I'm a mango seed, I'm going to be a mango tree. So if I'm going to be the Paliyadasi of Srimati Radhika, that is what I am, and I'm not changing that, and it can't change. Another point that Srila Gurudev really put on me was our association and how important association is. He would talk about how association is everything. And in going beyond Vaikuntha, he even talked about that. He described us as trees. And association is like water. And without our association, we will shrivel up. We become like-minded with people who we hang out with. So we should always try to be in good association and people who are always remembering Srila Gurudev, Radha and Krishna and all these leelas. And I think that's, it may just seem like everyone's like, yes, association. But I think it's harder to live by that. And it's easier said than done. At least for me, I find all the time, like, I meet new people, I want to be friends with them. And then I realize, where's my consciousness going? And then also in the other way, I can't seclude myself from everyone either. Then I really shrivel up. And I think that's why what you guys are doing here is such an amazing seva. We're all in lockdown during this COVID time, and yet we're still able to have association of each other and hear all the sweet stories of our Srila Gurudevs. And even if someone has a different Gurudev, like Srila Bhakti Bigan Bharti Maharaj, I honor him so much, and it's amazing hearing stories from also his disciples. Gurudev would say, same wine, new bottle. And I see that so much in the Harikatha of many different Vaishnavas. And it's so beautiful hearing the stories of how people have come to Krishna consciousness. Especially for me, I feel like I've grown up in it, and it was my way of life. And it is so inspiring to hear stories of what people have had to give up and how they just left everything. And it's really beautiful. And another point Gurudev always gave us is the importance of knowing why we're doing something. In India, Manas, sometimes when I first met him years ago, he didn't know, we were doing Parikrama Vrindavan. And Kishore Mohan Prabhu actually asked him, do you know why we do Parikram? And he didn't know. He said, all my life, I've always just been doing Parikrama Vrindavan. Like, it's just what we do. It's our culture here. And it's what I've grown up doing. And also many other people I've met. But this really made me realize, like, what a special thing Srila Gurudev has given me. He's always told us the reason why we do something. We don't simply do it out of ritual. We're doing things for a reason. And I felt like that was a really big eye-opener, because I hadn't realized it was such an important thing. Like, I always just knew why we did this, and this. And then when I met people, and some people actually started asking me, like, what's the reason for like this? Why do you do it this way? And I just realized what a gift our Srila Gurudev has given us. What a gift. And another thing I'd like to say is that Gurudev, in Hari Bhakti Vilas, it says that if there is no dakshin or donation given when you have initiation, then the initiation is false. And once Gurudev was speaking, and he was saying how he left Vrindavan, he left Mathura for us to travel and preach and to give us all these teachings. And he asked, how can all of you repay me? And he said, by learning what he wants to give us. And when I read that, I was like, wow, like, that's like such a great way to have to repay him. And I pray that one day I can properly follow his teachings and repay him in the way he wants. And yeah. And then another thing he gave for his daughters especially was for us to be bold and be strong like lions, and not to be hopeless. So I'm starting to try that. And yes, so that's all I have to say. And thank you for giving me the chance to speak on my Srila Gurudev. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Subi, that was just beautiful. You broke the dam in my heart. That was so beautiful. Do you speak much, Qatar?
No, not really. No.
You must do. You must do. You're a speaker. You must do more. It's fantastic. Honestly, do more. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You have the seed of something very powerful there, channeling Gurudev's Vani very powerfully. I loved, actually, to be honest, I loved how nervous you were at the beginning. I felt it. It was beautiful. It's because you cared. And just a few comments I'd like to make. But by the way, I think he said he wanted you to be like lionesses, not lions.
Yeah, you're right.
And he was trying to make us like lionesses so we could be manjaris. But
yeah.
I love what you said. I love that term, what you said at the beginning when you said you were drunk on mercy at the age of 5. And I was astonished, actually, the idea. I mean, I came to Gurudev at age 0 because my life started in 1996 when I met Gurudev, and he put the seed of the prayojan of bhakti, the goal of bhakti, in my heart. Even though I didn't have a clue about anything, he put that North Star clearly with clarity. But the idea that at my physical age would be 5 and to know my goal. Some people get to the age of 60 and they still don't know their goal. They die without knowing their goal. So that was actually mesmerizing to know that you knew your goal at the age of 5. And I think you said something very powerful when you talked about how Gurudev honored all the different kinds of prem, but that his prem had high specialization in that it was Rupa Manjari's It's following and holding on to the lotus feet of Rupa Manjari. And it's a very timely reminder, because today is the 1st of August, and in 17 days' time, we actually start the Rupa Goswami, Shri Rupa Goswami Tirabhav Festival online. So we're going to have 4 days of 6 hours, 2 3-hour sessions a day with 32 amazing speakers on Zoom. So that very much is the heart of Gurudev's Vani, is to understand the very specific goal of following the mood of Rupa Manjari and no one else, exclusively a very clear instruction. And those moods he's teaching us go deep and deep and deeper and deeper. So Subi, you did a magnificent job. I'm definitely going to be on your case to speak more, because that kind of speaking has to be cultivated. Gurudev would be unhappy with me if I didn't make sure you spoke more. It was tremendous. And I'll also be asking Manas to come back for some bhajan as well. It's a great way to close the program today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dandavats, Subi. Dandavats.